You're entering the wind tunnel with Jack Root. No spin, no bull, all Jack.
Seriously, it's a no-hold-bars visit with yours truly, Jack Root, and now joined by Mario Andretti.
You're talking to me, of course.
I'm talking to you. Yeah, of course I'm talking to you. Isabella Robusto joins us right now.
I was so happy when I heard that Jordan was coming into NASCAR, and I was like, if I get into Cup, that's the team I'm going for. I just want one of my bosses to be Michael Jordan.
Scott Dixon.
I was going to ask Jimmy if I could borrow a couple of his horses, and see what he has to say.
I'm Jimmy Johnson, and you're listening to Jack Root's Wind Tunnel.
Hey, man, thank you for having me.
All right, let's talk a little bit about how everything came together for you in the transition over, first after winning so many great races in the Xfinity Series, to be kind of a satellite team and lie in waiting your freshman year for the opportunity to finally be totally immersed in JGR.
Yeah, man, it's been a very welcoming sight to be able to move to Joe Gibbs Racing. Very thankful for the opportunity Toyota provided me to move to the Cup Series last year and get my feet wet and kind of learn the name of the game, Cup racing last year. But obviously Joe Gibbs Racing is an organization that I'm thrilled to be a part of. And ever since I signed with them in my Xfinity days, it was something that I knew I wanted to be here.
For a very long time, I've pointed out that the business model and what I call the development model that Toyota hammered out, going all the way back to identifying very young drivers and then working them through the pipeline, it has become, I think, pretty much the template for the other auto manufacturers as well. As you kind of move through that system, what was the biggest and best thing that Toyota provided you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that throughout the ranks, the biggest and the best thing that they provided was just opportunity after opportunity. And, without them, I wouldn't have been able to go asphalt racing in the first place. So whether it was the opportunity at Kyle Busch Motorsports, late model racing, and then from that, we went to the truck series. And from the truck series, then we went to the Xfinity cars as well. So it was just kind of, each opportunity was something that was not expected on my part. And I'm just very thankful that they provided those to me and I was able to make the most of them.
You're one of a very growing number of very young drivers that are nipping at the heels, or in some cases, supplanting some of the veterans at the ultimate NASCAR Cup Series level. When you look at it and you realize that now you're strapping it on and going up against guys that you watched on TV or that you said, man, someday I'd like that opportunity. Do you ever have a moment to just sit there and have to remind yourself that it's reality?
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest thing is you can't psych yourself out, right? Like a lot of these guys that we are racing against are our heroes, and we did, grow up as 5, 6, 7-year-old kids watching these professional racers race, and now that we're racing against them. But whenever you get out there on the racetrack, it's just a car number. It's just a car number, and it's a competitor, and you have to beat them just like you would beat anyone else.
What is the skill that you want to improve upon in this second season at the NASCAR Cup level?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the distance racing has been difficult. And, I've noticed that that's been the hardest part every step of the way. Whenever I started running truck races, they seemed really long. And then moving from truck to Xfinity, the Xfinity races seemed really long. And obviously the Cup races are roughly twice the distance of a truck or some of the Xfinity races. So it's just getting accustomed to the long distance races, figuring out how to make sure that I get my equipment all the way to the end of the race without having an accident of running into the wall or running into another competitor. And there's an art to that. And it's very difficult to do, to run 500 miles. And, your car has to be in, as good a shape at mile 500 as it was mile 1.
So as you were honing your skills and earning a lot of trophies and moving up the ladder and, coming up to the exciting conclusion that you finally got the brass ring, and now you're at the ultimate. You're part of the first chair. But I want to talk a little bit about the dynamics because you're the new kid, okay? You're the new guy. You've got MTJ and you've got Kyle and you've got the coach and that incredible group of people behind you. Has there been any hazing? Has there been anything where they just want to, test you a little bit to maybe get a laugh or just remind you that you are the newbie?
Not yet. I would imagine it's probably
you expect it though, right?
Later on in the year. And yeah, I would say that I am expecting that, but it's been all pretty smooth sailing so far.
One of the things I've always believed is drivers that cut their teeth on dirt, they learn car control to the point where it becomes embedded as muscle control. And with the way these cars drive, how important is that?
I think it's really important, especially the low downforce stuff on the short tracks that we got going on right now. You're slipping and sliding all over the place. So it's very important. And I feel like it's a huge benefit for me to have that skill set.
Will you ever give up the dirt because you love to go back there and try and test yourself? And just recently at the Chili Bowl, the kid from Norman, Oklahoma that grew up and was weaned down the dirt, I don't think you're ever going to get that out of you, are they?
No, definitely not. You can expect to see me there. I don't know how much I'll get to do it this year, but I'll be around. Absolutely.
The second year in the Cup Series. Last year, let's face it, I believe for a very long time, it was the first time that you went winless in NASCAR's Premier Series. How much patience did Christopher Bell have to exercise? How many talks did you have to remind yourself that this is all part of moving up the ladder?
Yeah, it was difficult. It was one of my biggest struggle years I've had in my racing career. So I'm excited to not be the underdog anymore, get back to where I feel like I belong. And hopefully that's competing for wins and running up front and being a factor every week.
Let's not forget, you picked a heck of a time to have to graduate up to the top level with the COVID-19, and all of a sudden practice, it went the way of Allen Iverson.
Yeah. It wasn't ideal. Absolutely. Definitely wasn't ideal.
How did you adjust?
I would say, you just got to adjust on the fly. Like there's no real magic way to it. A big thing is the teams too, right? Like a lot of it becomes in the team's hands as far as how they prepare the cars and who can do the best job hitting the setup right out of the shop.
Talking to Christopher Bell here on the Wind Tunnel. He is part now officially, full-fledged, got the souvenir bumper stickers, got the caps, everything. He is part of the Joe Gibbs Racing operation under the Toyota banner. Christopher, when you look at away from the racetrack, are you one of these myopic, I'm a driver and that's all I'm concerned about? Or do you have other outside interests that maybe a lot of your fans aren't even aware of?
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty much a racer at heart. If I'm not at the NASCAR races, you can catch me at a dirt track somewhere.
Short track racing, it's provided you with the opportunity. We're pleased to be partnered with Advance Auto Parts, who have made a major commitment to the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series. There's so many aspiring drivers and talented drivers that I'm sure you would attest to the fact are equal to Christopher Bell, but just due to happenstance, don't get the call the way you did.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a bunch of race car drivers out there that are super talented, and my best advice to them is win races. That's essentially how I got to where I am, and winners won't be ignored. If you win enough, you will get an opportunity somewhere.
So who gets more attention when he walks into a local eatery in Norman, Oklahoma? Christopher Bell or the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners?
I'd say Bob Stoops. I don't think he would definitely be more famous than me.
Listen, we appreciate it. We wish you the very best of luck, and don't be a stranger here on the Wind Tunnel, and go get him in 2021.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
We're hitting the brakes, but we'll be back on track after this.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Hey, I'm Joey Logano, and you're listening to Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel.
Newgarden did everything he had to, but Scott Dixon is a 6-time IndyCar champion. How about that?
You know, I don't know what I'd ask my guys to do different. They were flawless, fastest in the pits all year long. They were awarded earlier this weekend by Firestone, so I'm extremely proud to drive for my team, and not just our car, but all the teams combined, all the engineers, all the mechanics. We have an incredible crew that puts in a lot of work, and you know, we just came up short. That's all it is. We weren't good enough. We'll reset. We'll hit them harder next year, and I promise you we'll be in the fight. This crew can be in the fight every year, and so I have confidence we'll come back. So thank you to Hitachi, Team Chevy. You know, Team Chevy was the engine to beat today, and I think all year long. So big credit to them. Just a little short on points, but we'll come back hitting harder next year.
Welcome back to the Wind Tunnel. It's time for us to focus on the NTT IndyCar Series, and I honestly can't think of a better guest than our next one. He's a former NTT IndyCar champion, chased for the 2020 title, only to be beaten out in the final race by Scott Dixon. Josef Newgarden joins us now. Josef, it's been a wild and wacky 24 months for you. Forget about COVID-19 and what everybody had to deal with for the last almost a year. You win the national title with Team Penske, and then you go out to defend it, only to have Scott Dixon have what has to be considered by most in the industry an incredible season. And yet you never gave up.
Well, you can't, you know. I think for us it was a year to battle. I look at the year now, having done it, and there's not a lot that I would change, not a lot that I would ask different from my team. I actually thought we ran probably one of the best seasons that we could run. You know, we just didn't have things fall our way one too many times, and it put us in a hole, you know, halfway through the year, and really it was almost too steep to dig ourselves out of. You know, we couldn't claw our way back enough, but we did give it a run. Like you said, we fought to the end, and you know, that's what it's about. You just can't give up. You just never know in this sport how things are going to turn around. Maybe.
Look, I had a sense at midseason that you, not struggling, but you were going to conquer the frustrations. I got the sense that, you know, Mr. I'm always positive and the glass is always full had to talk to himself at night to stay focused.
Well, you know, you start to just get the helplessness feeling. I mean, I felt, you know, always positive, and I think, you know, to some degree you're right. You have to start reassuring yourself of the things that you believe, which is staying positive and staying focused. That stuff can naturally start to slip the more aggravated you get. But it was aggravating. You know, the yellows, the poorly timed yellows that just seemed to keep biting us. And not only were they just biting us, but they were also seemingly helping Dixon at the same time on every event that was happening to us. So it was just almost a recipe for disaster. But we stayed focused. You know, it's what you just have to do. You have to try and maintain your focus and your composure, because as bad as the first half, really 3/4 of the first part of the season went against us, you know, that can completely turn around sometimes and give you a beautiful second half or a beautiful final corner. And you just don't know if that's ever going to be enough. So I think you've always got to maintain that, you know, that grip on the possibility that things can turn your way.
Who do you think had to work harder to stay positive, Josef Newgarden or his crew?
I think probably, you know, for me, it's hard to say. Definitely, I've got a lot of really great people on my crew. Honestly, Travis Law, my crew chief, is he's always looking, you know, to carry to the next event, whether we had a really great day or a bad day. He's going to the next event, and we're going to have, you know, the same effort and focus. So he's a great rock for the team itself, and for the mechanics specifically that are working on the car and trying to stay motivated and trying to stay interested on, you know, are we going to be successful? Are we going to win races this weekend? They really need that positive influence that Travis brings. And then I think between myself and Gavin Ward is my engineer. We just have a really positive relationship where, you know, if there's a day that he's feeling a little down, I'm lifting him up. If there's a day that I'm feeling just a little down, he lifts me up. And so that's been a really good, you know, positive relationship that we've had to work together. And then you have, you know, Tim Cindric, the boss of the team, and he's specifically on my car to call the strategy. And he's he's always just focused on trying to have the best day possible, regardless of what's going on. So he's very, very even keel. So it's hard to say. I don't know that, one end needed it more than the other, but we definitely all worked collectively to try and stay focused.
I've heard it said many times through generations of drivers that the relationship that they have with their crew is even stronger than the relationship. As much as they love their spouse, it's even stronger, because when you're hitting on all 8 cylinders as a crew and a driver, they can always end your sentence before you do.
Yeah, you end up getting into a really good, or you hope to. Not everyone does. Not everyone has a great relationship with their crew, but I think it's critical to have that very tight bond amongst the team. Here's the thing. When you have a race team, a lot of it can be centralized right around the driver. And in a lot of ways, that's true. At the end of the day, the driver's in the car, and what the driver needs and requires is really important. That's what we're kind of all working towards. So, selfishly, I hate saying that, but that's why everybody's there. We're trying to figure out what's going to make the driver happy and go fastest, and then how, as a team, are we going to execute on race day and make the most out of that. So, trying to form that bond with your team is so critical. The people that you get to work with, they have to be so committed to the cause and to the driver itself. And if you don't have that commitment level, then you're not going to maximize the most out of the people around you. So when you do get that really strong bond that you talked about, they can be extremely powerful from a results standpoint and from a performance standpoint. But it's a very powerful bond. It can be just as powerful as a marriage, like you said.
You talk about the bond between the crew chief and the engineer and the driver and the mechanics. There's a relationship that I think has always been unique to Team Penske, and that's that the captain can assemble a diverse group of drivers. One may be outspoken and win Dancing with the Stars, and the other one may have started out life stocking shells for his father, and the other one may be racing go-karts. And you first got to the team, and your teammates punked you, and it absolutely was the best I ever saw when you were pulled over by an Indiana sheriff. Can you share that with us?
Oh yes, this was like a war that had broke out between me and Simon Pagenaud. It was my second year on the team, and Simon, somehow we got into this signing war as a joke, where I think I was making fun of Simon because he posted all of these videos of himself signing every little thing that he could. And I'm like, wow, he's really assuming everyone wants his signature. And then it just turned into, well, who can sign the most stuff, or, who's going to sign the next thing first. And so we started trying to find things outside of racing that were just kind of ridiculous to start signing. So it just became this signature autograph war. And he devised the plan. He put a tremendous amount of effort into this. I mean, more than I want. I was focused on the race season, and I feel like Simon was focused on the autograph war. And he involved he involved an Indiana state trooper, and basically just got it set up to where I was leaving the racetrack and got this cop to pull me over on basically a fake charge. And he wrote me up a fake ticket, and it had his signature on it, and he filmed the whole thing. And so it was pretty funny because he punked me back, and he literally got me, in a pretty unique circumstance where he was able to sign the ticket right when I received it. So it was just completely. Then I was done. I was like, okay, you win this autograph.
Gotcha.
You're able to get me better than I can get you. I couldn't focus the time on it. I'm like, Simon, I don't have time to go to this level of preparation. We're in the middle of a race season. So I told him, I'm like, you win. You're the winner. You did more than I can do ever. I was like, why am I getting pulled over? I had no idea.
When you're traveling 16, 17, 18 weeks, not even counting testing, all together, it's like a traveling carnival. It's family. And what family does is punk one another for laughter.
it's it's been a thing in IndyCar for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The pranks, you're starting to see it again now with guys like Colton Herta. He's starting to prank people. He's like the young guy in the sport, so that's fun to see.
Alex Rossi, look what they did to Connor Daly with this golf cart. I mean, yeah, and it's so enjoyable. Josef Newgarden's our guest. Real quick question for you. What's your nickname?
Oh man, I don't know that I have one.
Do you want one?
I never really thought about it. I don't know that I have a nickname, and I've seen people. I think Robin Miller had called me like J New or something, but no one calls me that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that I have one. I don't know that I have one, and I don't know that I need one necessarily. But I just don't. It's a good question. There's a lot of nicknames on the team. We have a lot of guys that are. Travis Law, my crew chief, he's called the sheriff. Sometimes he brings out his little badge and wears it on pit lane. So there's cool stuff like that, but I don't have one. I don't know why. We probably should ask the mechanics why I don't have one.
Well, and we can also put it out to our listeners. They can go to www.jackaroots Wind Tunnel and nominate some names. Not saying you have to take them.
I'd like to hear from the listeners too. You guys let us know what you think is best.
How about the Silent Assassin?
Oh, yeah, that's actually hilarious because, another name I had been called was the Angel Assassin.
Ooh.
Which I kind of liked. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't mind that. So I have heard Angel Assassin before, but, it's not like it's stuck. No one's been like secretly calling me that. But let's see what people think.
Let's see what happens. I will share with you in my career, I gave 2 nicknames that have stuck for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Which ones?
One went to the Formula One champion who came over in his first season, drove a pink car, but eventually won the Indianapolis 500. Emerson Fittipaldi, MO, and just next time you see him, he'll be the first to tell you. I came up with it first, and it stuck, and now it's universally accepted.
And that's a good one.
And then there was a young kid from New Zealand that had just entered IndyCar racing, and I gave him the name the Iceman. And you know who that is.
Yeah, you're going to say Iceman. Yeah. There you go. I didn't know that. I didn't know you coined those.
But then again, Joseph, if you stick around the sport long enough, you're going to get lucky, right?
That's pretty cool. That's good backstory right there. Those are 2 really solid ones. And that's why they've stuck around, because they're so solid.
So if I can get the Silent Assassin going, hey, that'll be 3. I can't see you with wings.
That's okay, but I think it's
the Grim Reaper. Go with the Grim Racing Reaper.
But I like that they're so different. You have this like angelic.
That's true. It's a contradiction of terms, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of neat.
All right. Well, we'll see what we come up with over the course of the next couple of weeks. Final question. You and I have talked about this before. One of the things that Team Penske and Tim Cindric have done very effectively is assemble all of their teams under one roof, and not necessarily out of requirement or necessity, but in a desire to be close. Most of the drivers look into that Charlotte, North Carolina, Mooresville, North Carolina area. You were there and got married, and you moved back to Tennessee.
Yes, it's a good question. For me, it was. I think it was inevitable that at some point, I would like to live where I want to live. And ever since I was 16 years old, I'd always been as close to the race team as possible. When I was racing in England, I lived, next door to the race team. When I moved back to America, I lived in Indianapolis when I was running Indy Lights. When I joined SFHR for IndyCar, I was in Indianapolis, just up the road. And then the same thing followed suit when I joined Team Penske. I moved to Charlotte, no problem. I gotta be there as close to the team as possible. And I think that it is very important. It's so important for a young driver to be in close proximity to the team they're racing with. And you should do that for as reasonably possible. But I had gotten to a point where I said, you know what? I travel so much now my life has changed since when I was a junior driver in it. And I travel so much. I'm always on the road that I don't know that I'm going to be spending less time with the team if I move to Nashville. And you know what? It just about rang true to how I thought it was. So I'm able to, live in Nashville, Tennessee, and travel remotely to everywhere that I got to go, and travel to Charlotte and spend just as much time as I would, while living in Charlotte. So I really have the best of both worlds. It was a decision that I had thought about a lot before making it. I consulted with everybody, especially Tim Cindric. And we were all pretty comfortable with what I was going to do. And it's worked out actually pretty well. So it is an interesting dynamic, that drivers go through, but it is one I thought about a lot before making a change.
Listen, this has been fun. It's been an education for me. And I want to thank the Angel Assassin for going inside the wind tunnel with yours truly today. Josef, good luck in 2021. Down the road, let's keep our fingers crossed. Now that we've got a vaccine, we'll be able to return to normal. Till then, be safe, and my best to your family and Team Penske.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
Coming up next.
Jacob Goede looks and sounds like a champion because he is.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
I'm Kyle Rickey from MRN Radio, the voice of NASCAR. They are the foundation of American motorsports, the launching pad for racing's future. Time now for the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap, brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, driving local racing and local communities forward.
Well, this week's Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series Victory Lap centers on the 2019 national titleist for the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, Jacob Goede. By day, you're a mechanical engineer, and then Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, you're out there racing against some of the very best. How do you square having a hobby like auto racing and then your 9-to-5 job as a mechanical engineer?
Yeah, I mean, it can be tough. Racing's my passion. I always wish I could have made a career out of racing, but it never worked out. But the hobby can almost be a second full-time job a lot of the time. There's a lot of time in the shop. Obviously, it takes to compete at any level, really. It's a busy lifestyle, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
How about your family support? We know about your two brothers, and every now and again, your dad and your father-in-law will pitch in. But what about life at home? How about your wife and, the support structure that she provides for you?
Yeah, obviously I couldn't do it without her. We got 3 young girls, 8, 6, and 4. That's part of why racing around the Midwest works for me, is they can come to the track every week, and they're starting to get into it. We're going to get my oldest daughter started in quarter midgets here this year. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, no, my wife actually used to race when we started dating, and before we started having kids, she actually won a championship before I did. So she knows what it's all about, and lets me put in the time that it takes, and she keeps everything else kind of running, which so I couldn't do that without her support for sure. So she's real understanding, and yeah, my kids love it, and I'm proud of that. I'm not pushing the racing on them, but they're taking a liking to it, and that gets me really excited for the future.
All right, so your bride wins a championship before you do. Has there ever been a period of time where, let's just say you finished second and you should have won? When you finally get home, your wife says to you, "Here's what you did wrong."
There's definitely been times like that, for sure. She's quick to point out if I make a mistake or something, but that's all part of it, and I need that sometimes. I'm not always right, and so that's good to knock you down a couple notches every once in a while and bring you back to reality. And so yeah, no, it's all in good fun though.
It's pretty stout competition that you measure yourself against each and every week, is it not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Elko, we're the only asphalt track left in Minnesota, Elko, but, any given night, there's 10 guys that can win. And generally we're approaching 20 cars. So the competition's, I think one of the stiffest around. I don't get to go down south, so I can't speak for everybody, but in the Midwest, I mean, in general, I mean, you got Steve Carlson from the La Crosse area, who's a national champion. And I get to go down to La Crosse and race against him and the rest of the good guys down there. So the competition all around is pretty tough in the NASCAR series, especially at the Elko La Crosse area. It's a tough little place, but when you get your car good and around those places, generally you can be competitive at a lot of different racetracks, and that's something I'm pretty proud of, I guess. Kind of wherever we go, we're in the ballpark.
Hey, Jacob, is there significance to the number 72?
It was my dad's number.
Okay.
He ran on dirt, local track when we were growing up, and before he got us into quarter midgets. So I kind of carried on that tradition and been 72 ever since.
I want to take you back to 2019. It wasn't an easy national championship to win. In fact, you went down to the final weekend and you had a doubleheader back to back. You win the first one, but then they invert the start and you start ninth. How intense was that final race?
After we won the first one, then that's when the pressure really set in, I guess, for me, was leading up to the second race. Because, we won the first one and it all came down to that last 35 lap feature. And, I knew we had a good car, but still everything has to work out to get through traffic, and everything did. And I guess we got lucky that we brought a really good race car, and that's what it took. And traffic worked out, and I was able to get the lead, and everything worked out. So no, but it was pretty nerve-wracking going into that second one. It was a giant relief when it was over, I guess.
Well, and the call from Steve O'Donnell had to be extra special, seeing how he had to chase you down at work. Tell me a little bit about when you fielded that phone call in your cubicle.
Yeah. So I was at my desk, and I was hoping the call was going to come sooner than it did. Honestly, it took a little longer. NASCAR reviews all the points and everything like that. So I was hoping it was going to be on Tuesday, but I think it didn't come until Wednesday or Thursday that week. And you're kind of just waiting around. It's like, man, I hope everything was on the up and up all season and there wasn't a missing point for someone else or whatever. But no, that was pretty special to get a call from the president of NASCAR. That was pretty cool. My day job is what helps pay the bills, so I got to be there, and to be sitting there at my job and get the phone call that we won was pretty special. What's
the response from your coworkers when they know that not only are you racing, but you're a true national titleist? In fact, you're the first driver ever to win a NASCAR national championship from the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, no, it was actually really cool. So MTS is where I work, and they're a huge company, and they actually put it on their company internal website, for everyone to see. And a lot of people didn't even know that I raced. We got 800 to 1,000 employees at our home office, and so there's no way I knew everybody. And anyway, it was pretty cool. I mean, they kind of made a big deal of it, made their own story, and like I said, put it on our internal website. And so that brought a lot of attention to myself, and putting that out there like that, that kind of brought it to everyone's attention. Like, wow, this guy actually did something,
Baby Goede. What in the hell is Baby Goede?
So that's kind of interesting story. When my wife got pregnant with our first daughter, Reese, she started making baby bibs and burp rags and stuff like that. And then, it kind of grew into selling them at craft shows and stuff like that. But anyway, when she was pregnant, she worked with one of her sisters at a warehouse deal, and it was just a joke. She rubbing her belly and just calling it Baby Goede as kind of a spin off our last name. And so anyway, when my wife actually went full time with her business, making baby blankets and custom embroidered stuff, the name she just went with it and stuck. So it's kind of a spin off of our last name. But she's keeping busy with that. That's her full-time gig. I actually built her a room in my shop so she's hogging up some space in here, but no, she keeps busy, and that's pretty cool.
It is very, very cool. And I'm glad you did that at the shop because she can keep an eye on you. Listen, Jacob,
right.
to you, your two brothers, to your wife, to the entire Giede family, nothing but the very best. And go get them again, will you, in 2021?
All right, we're gonna sure try. So that's the goal, is to try for championship number 2, and so we're working hard to make it happen.
Be sure to join us again next week for another trip to racing's grassroots with the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap. Brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, advancing the next generation of drivers and champions. I'm Kyle Rickey from the Motor Racing Network.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Would you like to be part of these Wind Tunnel podcasts? Well, guess what? You can. Email us at jackarootswindtunnel@gmail.com, or better yet, call our hotline at 413-566-6206 and record your comments and questions. By the way, you can also post on our website, jackarootswindtunnel.com.
Eddie!
Mail call!
Time to see what you got!
Handling our mail call is social media influencer Jason Stacks. Be sure to check out Jason on TikTok at Jason Stacks and on his Instagram account, I am Jason Stacks. Okay, Jason, what have you got for me this week?
Jack, this week you asked the listeners a question. Jimmy Johnson and Tom Brady are 7-time champs. Do you think their accomplishments are equal? Kevin Polachek wrote, as far as Brady and Jimmy goes, their accomplishments can't be equal. Obviously, one drives 200 miles per hour, and Brady can do it all by himself on a field of battle. Jimmy's accomplishments can also be contributed to the team factor at Hendrick Motorsports. Yes, Brady is on a team. He is the mastermind in any huddle. You could put Brady on the worst team possible, and he'll take them to the next level. That's just how he is. Jimmy showed us over his time in NASCAR that it took a total team effort with he, Chad, and the entire crew at HMS.
You know what? I can't take issue with your thoughts, Kevin. In fact, while I believe that what Jimmy Johnson did in NASCAR, winning 7 Cup championships, puts him in pretty impressive company, Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr., Brady's 7 Super Bowl rings is unmatched.
That's all we have time for today, Jack. A quick reminder that you can be a part of Mail Call by calling the Wind Tunnel hotline at 413-566-6206, emailing us at jackarootswindtunnel@gmail.com, or posting your question on the website, jackarootswindtunnel.com.
That's it for Mail Call. Thanks, Jason.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Time to close the door on this edition of Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel. My thanks to Christopher Bell, Jacob Goede, and Josef Newgarden. Next week, you'll hear from the driver of the Shell Oil Team Penske Ford, Joey Logano.
You signed up for that pressure, right? That's what you wanted. You have to live with that and be excited about it and love it, because there's thousands of people that would love to be in my position. And I want every driver to know that.
We'll visit with second-generation IndyCar driver Graham Rahal.
We've had a couple of good chances over the last couple of years, and particularly last year, and just came up just short. So hopefully we'll be able to get the opportunity here to do it again in 2021.
All that plus another edition of Advance Auto Parts Weekly Racing Victory Lap. By the way, help us expand the reach of Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel, will you? When you download an episode, copy the hyperlink and pass it on to your friends. Until our next episode, I'm Jackaroot, and I urge you to take care of each other. Thanks again for listening.
Today's trip to the Wind Tunnel was brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.